apparently I mustn't shout. Apparently I mustn't shout because when I shout, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for the girlies. And apparently I'm also frozen because I'm looking at myself in another camera. So I was frozen for 2 seconds. But hello, good people! Yay! Nyaki just told me that when I shout during lunch and learn, it cuts out. So now I've got to do like, what's that guy's name? He makes a lot of money and his show is after his name. And what's his name? Seinfeld. Seinfeld does like the shouting, but like his voice is still like monotone. So I've got to do one of those shouting things. But hey, everybody, welcome to Lunch and Learn. We're so excited to have you with us. We're live on Instagram, live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook, and we're live on what did I miss? YouTube. For the girlies, the only thing we have to get right simultaneously is TikTok. Please. For the girlies. Nyaki is joining us in the dark from Johannesburg. I'm joining you from the, from the light. Hi, Nyaki.
I can't help you.
It's not just me. I think everybody can see it. I'm not the one. All of us can see it. Like, Ubuli Fifi, like you are in the dark, like the actual nighttime.
It's not me. Speak to the Lord, okay? He decided to make it dark.
I'm putting an official complaint in, but if you're joining us, we'd love to know who you are, where you are joining us from, and why. Why are you here? What do you want from us? So we have Teen Coach Lisoko joining us every week, like a G in the building, saying good afternoon, everybody. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that Nyaki is not scared to speak about, money. While the rest of us, we cringe, we feel some type of way, we feel funny because money makes us nervous. Okay, Nyaki's just like, what? Bring it on. Bring it on. Nyaki, the topic of wealth. Why aren't you scared about being wealthy? Like, not being wealthy, but just like talking about it. Like, what happened to you in your childhood that makes it so easy for you to just
I
talk
saw
about
people
wealth?
with money. I saw people with money and I want it. I want a lot of it.
You got desensitized. That's what the rest of us will say. Nyaki's philosophy in life is retire at 40. Done. Finished. Not another day of work. The audacity, the goal, Nyaki.
If that American guy dies, but anytime now, I'm gonna be rich, guys. I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be so rich. I've been watching my little portfolio there growing. As he says something, the oil price goes deep. Just that guy must do something in. I mean, it's horrible, obviously, because people are. But we'll be rich one
Everybody,
day. Don't worry, guys.
every person who has some sort of investment in anything that has a foreign currency or is global, they're just like any market, anything in the markets. People are just like, what did he say this morning, last night? What did he do? But I think the nice thing about wealth and the conversation that we're going to be having today, and we're very excited for this conversation, is it's practical. If you've ever watched it on YouTube, you start to understand that money is everything. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. Okay? You cannot avoid it. I was watching another video earlier today where someone was speaking about a billionaire who died because they weren't in good health. And the only thing when you have money, you're able to get good health care, but there's a limit to how much it can help you. Like money can't buy your life back, but it makes your life so much easier in everything. So the conversation goes from your credit score to your car, picking the right bank account, picking, knowing the pitfalls of which house you're buying and the process of buying a house, to your investments, to everything, right? Today's guest has made money and the conversation of wealth very understandable, and coming from a professional where we are just like, we're scared to speak to chartered accountants, but this specific one is just like, you know what, you've made it so accessible to all of us. You've come and you've made it easy for us, accumulating more than 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's released a book which is doing absolutely amazing. For you to write a book, you must understand that there's a focus in your life and there's an ability to do something that very few people get to do. Boss Your Money, conversation about wealth and really helping us to understand how wealth works, as well. There we go. How we can actually create wealth in our lives, getting practical, getting down to business. So we are super excited to have with us in the building. I'm not gonna shout. Nokuhle Khumalo Chamoto. Oh my gosh! Yay!
I'm also not going to shout because I've heard the memo. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us in today's conversation. You have your hands full. So I was watching your latest vlog speaking about is coming back, Diaboa is going down.
Yeah, but you know what? One of my favorite quotes is I can't complain about having too much on my plate because the plan was to eat or something like that. So yes, I do have a lot going on, but I'm also like, if not me, then who?
Then
And why
who?
not? So yeah, I'm handling it all somehow, some way. But yeah, but I'm hoping long term, I'm not that I'm flustered. I don't think I actually have a lot going on. Especially last year. Last year was a very calm year because obviously
Yeah,
I was writing the book.
yeah.
So I paused a lot of things, but also I was planning the wedding. So that was also a whole thing on its own. But I think this year is a no big event happening year. So at least I can focus on growing my business a lot
It's
more.
maintaining and sustaining all of those many blessings. You were just getting gist. It was the year for your plate to get full. You used the right analogy to say your plate is full. You know, people who dish and they're hungry at a funeral, and then the plate is this big. It's this wide, but it's also the food is just a dome. Last year was your year of just dishing and dishing and dishing, and now this year is just like eat
A hundred
well,
percent. Yep.
eat slowly, no indigestion. Just enjoy everything that you have on your plate.
Mhm.
So for people who don't know you and are meeting you for the first time, who is Nokuhle?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. I'm kidding. Well, I do. Nobuhle is, I never know what to put up front because I don't want to assign value to other things, but Nobuhle is your digital big sister. That's what I call myself. That's what people call me actually. But I'm a YouTuber. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a two-time author. I am a business owner. I'm a sister. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. Okay, this is too much. But I'm a lover of life, and I love learning and I love teaching. I wanted to be a teacher growing up. Took the accounting route, but I came back and started teaching people just online and kind of for free. So yeah, and I love money. Yeah, sorry if
That
I didn't mention that. I love money. I love love. I love money, and I love love and money.
I love how you like. I love money. I love love and money. It just makes sense. It meets beautifully in the middle. What gave you the confidence to actually just start a YouTube channel? You did say that you wanted to teach, and you've always had that thing in
Mm,
you to teach, but to actually whip out the camera. And also during a time when, I mean, you've been in the game for quite some time.
mhm.
And during a time when it wasn't as popular at the time, and also even the topic, right, that you
I'll
ended
be
up
honest.
focusing on.
It
Well,
wasn't. It wasn't the plan. Like I don't want to lie to you and say, oh, I thought about it and I wanted to. No, I my YouTube was a lifestyle channel. I just wanted to vlog, and the first few videos on that channel are just me spend the day with me. My boyfriend was in the vlogs, who's now my husband. My best friend was in the vlogs, but it was just a digital diary. I wanted to preserve my memories for myself, but also for my kids, because I always say that's the one thing I really want to be like a mom. And when the time and money makes sense, I will do it. So yeah, it was just a lifestyle channel, not meant to be monetized. It was just a hobby. And then fast forward, when I left university and started my new job, I bought a car. A lot of my friends had questions about how did you buy a car, and I would answer them individually, and I'd give them long and winded responses. But by the time the sixth friend asked me, I was just tired. I was like, actually, I'm tired of repeating myself. So I made a video so that I'm not now declining or reducing the amount of information I'm sharing, so that everyone gets the same response from me. So I made that video, I posted it, and I said, hey guys, sorry, I'm deviating from my content a bit. How I bought a car, and then I spoke about it. Then I went back to my lifestyle content because that was the purpose of the channel. Fast forward, as I'm going through my career, as I'm learning all these things, my dad's like, you should invest. I'm like, okay, but how? And also tax season came about and I'm like, okay, cool. I used to work for an audit firm, a big 4 firm. So I thought, oh, they're going to send us some guidance on how to file our taxes. It never came. So I was like, if I'm struggling with this, I don't know how to invest, I don't know how to file my taxes, but I'm a whole accounting graduate training to be a chartered accountant. What about my friends who are in the health industry or my friends who are in marketing? So I was like, let me figure it out. And then once I figured it out, I'll make a video. Long story short, the personal finance videos started getting more popular than my lifestyle ones. People also started saying, hey, let's showing us about your life, teach us something. And I was like, okay, this is a monster of its own. And then I moved my lifestyle content to a different page. So I still do that. I have a couples channel with my husband. I have a diary on the side, but then the main one is about money, personal finance, and learning about it. So
I love how the audience lead you to that. It's such a good way to find like your thing. And I completely agree with you. Okay. So when I was studying, so I started off on the CA route. I was like, nah. As soon as I saw those auditing books, I was like, no. I bought them. I did auditing 1, and I was like, Kasham. And we were like going through tax, and I did all my tax modules, and I was just like, I still don't know how to do tax though. I was just like, this is weird. Like, I know how to theoretically do it for a company. I know the theory. I don't know how can log in now into e-filing. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, it's so interesting that you go and study accounting. You sit and you do a whole income tax thing. Why pasa? You pass. Right? And then after you just like, so practically, where do I go? Like, what do I do? And I love that you went and found the answers out for yourself. And then as you learn, you teach. As you learn, you teach. And that journey of it becoming something that you did regularly and people having the demand for it is the best way to grow. And you've done a lot of growing, ma'am. You've done a lot of growing.
I mean, I hope so. But yeah, and I'm so glad that you can relate, because it actually gets a bit embarrassing because everyone's like, oh, you studied accounting, you're going to do this for us. And it's like, actually. And when people hear chartered accountant, I think the assumption is always good with money, planning, management, and all of that. And trust me, we are great. I almost said they as if I'm not part of them. They are great. However, people also need to realize that there are different finance professionals for different things. And that's one of the things that I actually spoke about in Boss Your Money, because I felt like a lot of people would ask CAs, how do I do this? How do I do this? And funny enough, some of my friends would also be like, so how are we meant to do this? And the point is, just because someone is a CA, very prestigious and everything, 100%. However, we focus more on companies and corporate structuring and corporate finance. So we can do that blink of an eye. However, when it comes to personal finance, a lot of people just are limited to what they know for themselves. And like what happens with their parents. So if you were to ask someone, for my retirement, should I do this or should I do that? That's a very technical question, and they might not be able to help you directly. They can tell you what they're doing, but it doesn't mean that you should apply the same thing, because you guys have different balances, different risk appetites, different plans after retirement. So in Boss Your Money, I'm like, guys, I'll tell you, these are the people, and this is what they can help you with, because you have a financial planner, you have a financial advisor, you have auditors, internal and external. There's a lot of professionals available, but a lot of people don't know who to approach. And also you're scared that everyone is just so expensive. So let me just figure it out. But money is not something you want to just figure out. You actually need to learn it, because it's a skill.
But it is a skill. And it's so funny that we all have to deal with money every day. Whether you're dealing with rent, cents, thousands, or millions, every day you are dealing with money. Your
Mm-hmm.
child is stuck money. You have got your coffee or your snack money. You've got your salary that comes every single month, but it builds up to something. It builds up to a house, a car, affording groceries, petrol. It's all of those things. And when you talk about retirement, something we can't see, feel, or touch until it's too
Mm.
late. Until it's literally too late for us to see, feel, or touch it. Those are all such important things. But I love how you say that money is a skill. And just because you have money and you spend money doesn't mean that you're actually skilled with
Mm-hmm.
money. That. So now there's this gap, ma'am. Help us explain. You had the YouTube channel, it's growing. Kumnati, we're having fun. Ooh, got YouTube channel, I got followers, I got subscribers, I got views. When did it actually turn into a business for you? Or when did you actually see that, wait a minute, this thing can actually be something?
I think it was during COVID. So COVID was like obviously it was a very sad time and people died and I even lost people. So not a really great time. But in terms of YouTube and the online space, that was a really big rush. It was a great
Explosive.
time to be online doing stuff. I was seeing TikToks and people are dancing, saying I'm dancing so that in 2027 I get invited to Coachella. And I was laughing. I was like, hey guys, I know a lot of people are like, Ish, if only we jumped on back then. But because of COVID and everyone being on lockdown and people having a lot of access to socials and like on demand learning like YouTube, that's when my channel took off and then I got monetized. And then I started making money. So I was like, I did not even know that you can make money on YouTube. So I was learning things as they were being presented to me. So I was
Yep.
like, oh, hectic. We can make money? Okay,
The YouTube
cool.
thing is
Um,
a shock. Because also what happens is like you get a message from YouTube's, AdSense. You get a message from
mm,
AdSense payout. And I, what payout? What do you mean? Okay, I got monetized. I get it. I've been seeing the rands and cents. And then there's payout time. You're just like, let's see what's happening here. And you are also, for people who don't know, in one of the highest paying CPMs. So
yes, because I mean,
so
finance entities pay a lot for ads.
so much. Like
So
if
everyone
anybody's
wants
thinking of
an
having a YouTube
ad what
channel, yeah, if anybody's thinking of having a YouTube channel, lifestyles here, lifestyle beauties here. Finance is literally like right up here. Even wellness is still slightly lower. But if you're talking about big girl, big boy things, your property, your professions, yeah.
but I
When
also
and
think it changes slightly. But you're right. But I know. So I try to track analytics and people's RPMs and all of that. So there are waves. And I think obviously with South Africa, like the earning potential is still moderate, like if you're just
yes,
making money on the platform. But it's also because a lot of entities aren't really advertising fully on socials yet. And I'm saying
yeah,
yet because whoever's watching, if you're thinking about starting a channel, if you're thinking about putting something online, please stop overthinking it, just to do it.
do it now.
Because you're gonna miss the second gold rush
It's
when
coming.
when
It's really
it
coming. Like everybody who's been in content, you can see it happening because we saw it happening 8 years ago. A lot of people started channels. We started seeing at the same time. And it
mm,
literally is a thing of you could see all the signs. It was just like, it's happening again. You can feel it. There's going to be another wave. That's how also people are returning. The OGs are also returning back to YouTube. But you've been consistent. And I think the thing about it is at some point it looked like you started to business.
my phone is ringing. Sorry, I don't
No
even know
problem.
where it is. It is buzzing somewhere. I walked in and I stuffed it somewhere, but I've closed it to come back. Sorry, guys.
Okay, that's the beauty of being live, ne? It's an actual live stream. Like that's the thing. Like if my kids are home, like we are all here at the party. Um, at some point this started to become a business for you. When did that happen? And then you are a two-time author. When did you say, I'm going beyond this? This can actually be something that helps to build to the next level. How did that actually come to your mind and what did you do to make that happen?
So I'm going to give you a response that you might not like. because it wasn't part of the plan. I'm a very big planner, and I've got goals up on my wall everywhere where I'm like, okay, this has to happen, this has to happen. However, YouTube, online space, um, and me writing and being an author, I honestly thought I'd be an author like when I'm like 55, 60. And
Oh, during retirement when it's cute, ne? When you have so
yeah,
much life experience and you're just like early retirement, I'm enjoying my money, eat,
like
pray,
I just thought,
love.
and I'd have like a beautiful cover with my family, and it's like I'm sitting on a throne. Like, let me tell you how
How
I
you
made
made
it.
it.
So that's the type of book I
Your
had in mind.
memoir.
So answering your first question about it being a business, it was, I think, as obviously it was making money, but it's not always about money, but money is important. I am a personal finance enthusiast. As I was making money, I was like, okay, how much more money could I actually make? So I was like, okay, cool, let's kind of see. But I'll also be honest, a lot of brands would then start reaching out for like ad spots and stuff, and I took a while to accept those because I was also in audit, and there were a lot of conflicts to make sure that I'm not now promoting a company that our audit firm is auditing. Even if I'm not in the audit directly, it was still like a conflict. And obviously, and like I had to declare a lot of things because started off as a hobby, but now, hey, could be a conflict. So I
Yeah.
was very hesitant walking into it, and I always am, but I also think it's because I never want to go into something blindly and then get burnt. However, as it was growing and the numbers were growing, obviously subscribers are climbing off the roof. Like the exponential curve was crazy, also. So like if someone is still stuck trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, relax, you'll get there. It took me, I think, 3 or 4 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. And then a year later, I hit 25,000. So I got 24,000. And then a year later, I was on 60, and then 100. And then 150K was actually, I didn't even take a full year for the 150K now. My point is the growth is exponential. The moment people find you, it starts running. So just make sure you're ready. However, when I look at it from a business lens, I was just like, okay, cool. Clearly, the demand exists. People want to learn. People want to hear it in a way that makes sense for them. Let me probe this further. And I did a lot of researching. I asked a lot of questions, and maybe that's one of my superpowers, that I'm actually someone who loves to chat. I love to talk. So I asked a lot of my friends, family members, my parents, like everyone around me is a guinea pig. Not in a weird way, but like, tell me, how much do you earn? But like not in a weird way, but like, tell me how much you earn. Okay, cool. What's happening? Because I want to understand what frustrates you, but also what you're thriving in, because it forms or informs my content. For example, my friend is in business now, and she was talking to me about keyman insurance and the difference between that and income protection insurance. And I was like, that's a video waiting to be done. So the people around me inform the type of content that I should be putting out. And then the book, to be quite honest, the first book was Get Ready With Me, work edition. This is self-published. And then the second one is Boss Your Money. So with Get Ready With Me, it literally came about when I was meant to be resting after my international tours. I had come back from Australia. I was tired, and I hope my
What do you
parents.
mean international tour? You're just saying it like, I just had an international tour.
No,
What do you mean?
I had gone to work. So I worked in Deloitte, Philadelphia, and New York. And then after that, I went and worked in Deloitte, Australia, in the Melbourne office. But I was auditing still. And I was just like, actually, I don't think I like auditing. Like, I thought I was the problem. So I was like, okay, let me try give YouTube and content creation and all of this like a go. I gave myself time. I was like, I'm going to do this full time. Let's see what happens. The first month I was back, I was meant to rest. I went and saw my boyfriend, then he's my husband now. And I was like, okay, I just need to relax. He's like, okay, relax, be a professional stay-at-home girlfriend. I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. A week later, I started writing the first book. So clearly I cannot rest. I
You are
can't.
the problem. You are actually the problem,
I,
just not in
no,
the area you thought you were.
I definitely am. And the reason I wrote the book was because I actually don't watch YouTube. So as much as I'm a YouTuber, if you catch me on the Red app, it's because I'm uploading something and then I'm out of there. So I was like, if I don't watch YouTube, there must be other people who also don't watch it. So I was like, okay, how would this content reach me? Because whenever
Mm,
I make content, I'm not trying to be the smarter person in the room or teach for the sake of teaching. I'm addressing a concern that I had that I couldn't find the solution to, so that a future me doesn't deal with it. But a future me, or old me rather, doesn't watch YouTube. How would I have reached her? So I was like, a book, because I love to tick, I love physical things. So
love it.
that book then led to this book. And this book was because the other one was specifically for university students. Basically, you're jumping from university into the workplace and you don't know what to do. It's very practical, go straight to the point, like, but it only addresses that transition.
100%.
And then when Pan Macmillan, my publisher, approached me, they wanted that book. And I was like, guys, I have more to say. I think we can do something bigger. So with Boss Your Money, it's more long-term planning. Yes, it's also still very practical because I hate fluff. I also don't like long books. So when I saw how thick it was, I was like, excuse me.
Did I do it? Did I
I was
do
like,
it?
but the words are very thick, so people mustn't stress. Like, they're
I
quite thick.
love it.
We don't even use whole pages. Um, you see, like we have 2 pages just to break the parts. So it looks daunting, but I promise you, it's as cute and sweet as the cover looks. But yeah, but that one was more long term. Like, okay, I want to build as a South African. What do I do? Who do I speak to? Where do I start? You won't walk out here with everything, but you will know exactly where to start. You'll also know who to speak to if you want to take it further, and you'll have the questions. Because I think a lot of people don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what like help to ask for. So this, we plant the seed, and if you want to research it further, go ham.
Love
You know
it.
where to start.
Love it. I love that. So now that you had more to say and you put that out there in the
Mhm.
world, what, I know this is such a bad question, but it's also such a good question. What are, how will I put it? I don't want to say your 2 favorite parts, but I would say
Okay.
if I haven't bought the book, what are the 2 parts you're excited for me to see? If that makes sense.
Um,
I'll give you 3. 2 or 3. Your parts that you're like, I'm so excited for you to read this. Girl, you need to read this part.
I I am excited for you to read Playing the Money Game. Basically, because when we joined, you're telling me like how you typically don't like talking about money, which a lot of people feel, and it feels weird, but it's also because no one taught us to talk about money. So playing the money game is basically trying to trick your brain to do things that seem like nothing, but they actually help you in the long term. And also, like, it helps you define your wealth, because everyone says they want to be wealthy and have generational wealth and all of that, but it's like, okay, what does wealth actually mean to you? Because you and I, we could share similarities, similar stories, but we might want really different things. So just defining your wealth, that's what I'd love you to read. I'd also love you to read the one about having children, so that you can tell me if you agree or disagree, and then you must tell me, because
What
I need
about
to.
it? What about it? I mean, there's so
I,
many people are just- I
I
get
was
that.
quantifying. I was quantifying how much it costs to have a child. Not like to the rand sense, but the things that you should do to prepare yourself financially before having the kid, during the pregnancy. Like, how some people. I know medical aid is a very like hot topic when it comes to pregnancy, where people only realize once they're already pregnant that they really want a certain type of medical aid, and then medical aid is like, oh, we
Fine.
won't cover your pregnancy because it's a pre-existing condition. And it's like, bruh, it's not. So I talk about that, but even after, like, once you're raising your kids, even teaching them about money, because I know with pocket money, we used to get cash in hand, and it was like, okay, once this 10 rand is broken up into coins, you're going downhill. And then, whereas now, a lot of these schools have these digital type of tokens where kids can have their wallets topped up. Also, when you're shopping, you're tapping your phone, you're doing Apple Pay. So kids aren't seeing the transaction or the movement of cash as much as we used to. So then they think the money is endless. Or just use your phone, just pay with your phone. Yes, it's limitless. Mom's phone can do for anything. So I'd be keen for you to read that and tell me what you think. And then also, I think the wealth creation formula, and that's actually one of the bigger topics of the book. It was actually the title, but I think there's another book by some guy abroad who has a similar thing, so we had to change it. But with the wealth creation formula, obviously, that's like the crux of the book, because how do you make wealth? And then we break it down. So I think that's if you get that chapter, you're fine. You don't even need to read the rest of the book. If you read that section and you're like, thank you, I've got it, relax. You can skip the rest of the book, even though you'll miss out on all the funny examples that I make. I literally, when I was reading it, doing proofreads, it was the week of my wedding. And in the wedding section, because I also talk about marriage, because that's also a very financial decision. I love love, I told you guys, but I also love money. So need to think about it as a business merger. In that section, I wrote about how we're having an intimate wedding, being very, because weddings shouldn't cost so, like, I wrote in theory. I was like, okay, cool. I went back and I edited. I'm like, ha. I am not having an intimate wedding. We have 500 guests coming. So you also catch myself, and it's a really honest conversational book. There's the perfect world that everyone wants, but then there's the real application that actually it doesn't always work out like this, which is why I'm so keen to hear what you think about the motherhood one. Because I did my research, I asked my friends and my cousins, but I want the feedback from current moms.
I love that. It sets you up for another book. It really does. It really sets you up for another book, because now you got to live out everything you said. Go.
I think my husband would cry. He would cry, but just for a brief moment, because I put him through so much when I was writing that book. I almost ruined my own engagement, like my proposal, because I was writing the book and I was super stressed. And he's like, let's go out for lunch. I'm like, I don't want to go out for lunch. I'm trying to. But I went out for lunch and he still loves me. So that's okay.
He knows you. He just knows you. He knows that this is what I'm going to get myself into. And he just knows what he put himself in. And he's like, I think at the end of the day, those things that make us irritating are the things that make people love us even more. It's just like, you. But that's why we love.
I was like, I promise I'll bring really good SEO to our surname. I promise. And then I didn't. So now the second book is really urgent because Nokuhle Khumalo is now Nokuhle Khumalo. So I'm working on it.
Now, you see, now it's a must. It's not a setup anymore. Now it's a must.
And when I write that, hopefully I can tell you, like, I have billions and hopefully I've self-retired. Yeah, that's actually one of my goals for like pretty soon. But also, I'm lying. I'm lying because self-retire says the person who couldn't rest for a month.
For a month. All you had to do was do nothing for a month, and you wrote an entire book.
I wrote a book. So
no, it's fine. I think again, I always think about, like, I was on maternity and I couldn't sit still during maternity. So what did we do? Start a podcast and a business. and then at the same time, this is something that like Nyaki knows, that I actually went and studied for like financial advisory and I got my certificate and everything, and then I end up not doing it. I was just like a financial advisor for a month.
Hold on. Because why are you another same person? Was it the RE1 and the RE5?
I got my dopa number, I got all of those things. And I was like, and like a bunch of first appointments
Same.
and nothing. And I was like,
No, same. I studied. I
got
studied.
everything.
And then I was like, do I really want to subscribe to another type of like professional body with like new regulations? And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
nah. I also just
Like,
realized that I didn't want to be a financial advisor. And
you
yeah,
wanted the knowledge. You
it
wanted the
wasn't.
knowledge. Yeah. You wanted to know how it works. And I love how what I'm learning about you is firstly from the book, how you making money practical in that it's in your marriage. It is a financial conversation that you're having. It is a merger of two companies. Two
Mm,
financial entities are coming into one, right? It's not just the marriage contract that everybody talks about. It's like, hey, listen, household income, your house is a business. That house is a business, right? Talking about kids and talking about, I mean, some of the videos that do so well for you is like car choices. And,
mhm.
sometimes it's actually worth it. And I love how you can go back and say, okay, technically, theoretically, it was supposed to be a small wedding because, when I thought about it, it was supposed to be small and we take all that money and then put it somewhere else. But then when I
Did it?
actually came to what is that I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese, but it's a proverb from Asia, about you can only cross the river by feeling on the stones. You went to feel the stones yourself. You put your feet in the water, you felt it for yourself, and you're just like, okay, actually now that I'm feeling
Actually,
it myself.
but I also want to say that I think whenever I am making these like financial decisions, I always ask myself what's really important. Like, why am I doing this? What's the reason? Because a lot of people approach finances or financial plans or adjustments like some diet. It's like, okay, let me just focus and do this for like a year, and then after a year I can go back to being normal, and that's, you're going to crash and burn. So I'd like to do something that, hey, I can live with this for the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
So even with the wedding, I was like, based off of my money and my budget and what I have saved, this is what I can afford. That's what me and my husband can afford. Okay. And then our families, both our families, love both of them. Our families are so similar, but so different, but so similar. So when we were handling both of them, it was just like, oh, which side is it? Yours or mine? Okay, cool. Whatever. But the point is, people had a lot of opinions, and weddings are really nice, but they also just, I,
Emotionally charged.
I enjoyed my wedding. I really did. But if you told me to plan another wedding this year, I'd tell you to get out, because don't annoy me. But because people had opinions, but also people were super excited because we hadn't had weddings in both our families for so long. So it was like, oh guys, no, it's happening. But what I appreciated is that as much as our families did have things to say, they also supported it with financial muscle.
I
They
love
put their
that.
money where their mouths were. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna stop you from making my day even bigger. I mean, I love the
Go
attention.
for
So
it.
it really worked. And also, even our registry, we said no gifts because we were also living in Cape Town at the time. We're like, no gifts, guys, bring us the money. And obviously, I had to navigate that conversation with our families, because it was also like, it's a bit weird to ask for money. Like, you look like you don't have money. I'm like, no, no, no. I don't want a blender. I have a blender. I am 27, 28. You think I don't have a blender? I have a
Mama.
blender. There's nothing you can buy me. And with the money, obviously, because people are now giving us money, oh, they gave us a lot. So I was like, we could
Love it.
do this again, guys. Maybe not next year, but in
For
2 years.
that, we might have another wedding. I'll tell you, we and I were looking at the Woolies vouchers we got just on the Woolies vouchers alone. Like we did
Yes.
not take out money at Woolies for a while, and I loved it. Like when they finished, I was like,
Oh,
you're good.
wow. I tried out so many meals that I've never had from Woolies because it wasn't real money. It was just a voucher. No, so shout out to people who do that. Um, yeah, but also even like with money, I think when people avoid having money conversations is because they don't know how to frame them. They don't know how to bring them up without making the other person feel some type of way. So even in the book, like when I'm like, okay, I know you might want to ask for an anti-nuptial contract or think about it. Don't just say, hey, I need you to sign the prenup, because a lot of people call it that from America. That's rude, because that would also annoy me. As much as I'm a very comfortable person, but excuse me, what? But if you present it in a way where you show your thought process, it's like, okay, you're in business, I'm not, I have these assets, or you have these assets and I don't, like, let's think about it practically. And even outside of the marriage, even with parents, I think our parents are like very big, I don't want to say pain points, but points that we need to address, and very quickly, because you think they know everything. I mean, you grew up with your parents telling you what to do, what not to do. So the assumption is that they know everything. I think I was like, I think I was 26, 25, 26, when for the first time in my life, my dad said he doesn't know. And I was like, oh my word, there is a limit to the knowledge. And then I was like, okay, cool. But that also makes him human. So things like wills, do your parents have their wills set up? They might not have them, because a lot of people think the moment you set a will, you're
Go
calling on death.
They
Yeah.
go,
You're now you're also motivating people to kill you because you've chosen them. Just address the conversation. Wow, it's the way you present it. And honestly, it also boils down to communication. I think the top two reasons people get divorces or families fall apart is because of communication and money. So the money aspect, I definitely try to dive into, but the communication, I also touch on it a bit in Boss Your Money. Obviously, I'm not a psychologist. I
mm,
don't study human behavior, so I can also only speak to the things I've seen, the things I've learned. Also, shout out to TikTok, because people get on there and share their whole lives, and then you're able to dissect, and you're like, this is a bit flawed, this is great. So that also helps with the knowledge share, which I hope people are also going to get from this conversation. But because money is such a big thing, people need to learn to talk more about it, because if you avoid it, you assume a lot of things, and assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Someone said that joke to me once, and it wasn't funny, but I was like, I get it. So don't
mm,
assume when it comes to money. Ask questions. And even when you are buying a car or a house, you are part of that transaction. It's a mutually beneficial thing. Don't be anxious and super grateful that, oh my goodness, they gave me the approval. Let me not ask too many questions before they change their minds. Let me just keep quiet. No, ask the questions, because you will pay for that until you're so tired. And then you'll be like, how
I
could I have
should
done this better? And I'm saying this as someone who made a blunder with my first car. It wasn't terrible. Like, I could have lived with it. But when I saw the stats, I mean, the statement rather, and obviously the excitement had moved away, I was like, excuse me, what?
what
I
did I
didn't
actually
have the
do?
balloon payment. What? What's my interest rate? I sold that car. The moment I saw it, it didn't take even more than 3 months. I sold that car, got another one, which I liked even more. And it was still more affordable than this one, just because, yeah, I spoke. I was like, no, I don't want this. Let's drop this. No, let's also shorten the period so that I'm obviously not just in debt for a longer time. So talking helps a
So
lot,
much.
saves
So
you
much.
money.
I love this conversation, and I'm so happy that we had it. And it's so easy to have a conversation with you as well.
I also
Um,
feel like I'm just talking to myself. Like, I feel like we have so we should have done this way earlier.
so I'm telling you, long ago, we should have done this a long time ago. So I want to know. So because we're talking about money and we're talking about you and now business, right? Um, what I'd love for you to end with two things. Your
Mm-hmm.
last word on the women listening who are here. We always say in the club, like, you're building a business, you're not building a business so you can struggle and make minimum wage. Like, you're here to make real money, okay? So, what would your advice be, or your last word be, to the woman who is trying to make her own money, and then, and then the one from your book, a line from your book, or something about your book to motivate somebody to go get it and boss your money?
I'll start off with the line from the book, and then I'll speak to the woman. I can't remember what page it is, but there's a line in the book that says, "Your salary is not designed to make you wealthy." Yeah.
Yep.
If everyone was going to get wealthy just off of whatever that they were doing at their job, no one would come back to the job because you're wealthy and you can, live without the job. So it's enough to sustain you, potentially to excite you, but it won't make you wealthy. It won't give you what you're really hoping for. And also another thing is, which is also in the book, you can't save your way to wealth. Savings are more for like protective measures, just in case you need it, but you are not going to save yourself into being a wealthy person, unless if you were already a wealthy person and then you have less wealth, so you've saved because you've lost money along the way. But to the women who are listening, and those who are in business, but also those who are thinking about it, who are still working or whatever, take your time. There's no reason. You don't need to make a very big decision to jump super quickly. I always say, if I could have stayed at my job for longer, I'm also lying. I was going to say I would have. No, I probably wouldn't have. Um, I don't want to speak in theory, but if you can stay at your job and you're able to do both things at the same time, keep it. Okay, as long as you've done the necessary disclosures and all of that. It's multiple streams of income, right? But it's also multiple streams of stress. So I understand you might be feeling tired and burnt out, but at that point, instead of just abandoning one ship, you need to consider hiring. And I'm saying this because a lot of us, when we start these businesses, we do everything. You are the CFO, you're the marketing, you're the editor, you're the finance person, you do everything. And that's okay. You are going to get tired, but also you might not even be doing it well because you don't have all of this knowledge. Like, you have to learn so many things. I wear HR hat and I'm like, actually, this is not something I want to do. I do not want to be HR. So I know that's the next role I need to outsource, or rather hire for. The point is, if you do feel like you're running out of strength or you're running out of steam, but the money is still coming in, make sure you are hiring people. South Africa has a really high unemployment rate. And yes, people are waiting for the government to do things, but as small business owners, that will grow into big business owners, because we're not going to stay in this category forever. Hiring people does help the economy, but it also helps you. And
Your
if you're not sure,
personality.
yes, it actually helps you scale. And that's why sometimes people say, to make money, you sometimes need to spend money, because if you're doing everything, you become the bottleneck in your entity. However, if there are people who are working with you, at least you're able to delegate. It also helps you as a leader. So don't shy away from that. If you're not sure where to start, or even if you're unsure about what to do with your finances, how to capture invoices, how to do your taxes, because again, you don't need to try and figure out how to be an accountant from scratch. There are people to help you. At Lomaku, we're actually also offering professional services. We're officially launching soon, but I'm just, tying up, dotting some T's and crossing I's, or whatever, or the other way around. So reach out, Nokuhle Lomaku available. But even if you're not coming to us, there are other entities, there are other people who can assist. Club She is also there to help you build your brand. And obviously, you guys probably already know this because you're already on this platform, but your brand is the ultimate thing. Money
Yeah.
comes and goes. You can lose money, you can make more of it later on, but your brand and your reputation, super hard to build, super quick to destroy,
Yeah.
very similar to a credit score. So don't play around with it, okay? Get it right the first time. And if you're unsure, ask for help.
Love
And
that. Thank you so much.
Very good. Very, very enjoyable conversation.
thank you guys.
We absolutely loved it. We thank you for being here. You shared so many pearls of wisdom, Giselle, saying, love the lover girl energy because she's a lover girl herself. That's why. From one love to another girl. So we have Rufu, we have Real Intabi saying, Real Talk with Intabi, loving this conversation. Current location, Jessica, loving this conversation as well. On Instagram, we have Balisa joining us, Umbali saying, oh, the money seems endless to these children. They just swipe. The money comes from thin air and it just keeps going. And Lesotho also saying, every guest comes here so pretty. Is that the criteria?
Very strict criteria. It's easy when it's
I
just
was wearing
girls.
pajamas
In
an
all
hour
fairness.
before this.
All of us were in pajamas. Nyaki and I were in gowns before this. Just exposing us. It's cold, guys. You want to be cozy.
And those are
Okay?
the perks of being in business, you know?
That is exactly it right there. The perks of being a business is you can be in your gown behind your laptop until there's a meeting, you just do this and then you put it back on. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for Lunch and Learn. This was such an amazing conversation. Go out and get Boss your money at your, and no exclusive books has got it at, and also you can order it. And thank you so much for being here. Nokuhle, you are absolutely amazing. We know that big things are coming, like you said. Lomaku launching, you just keep rising and growing. I would love to see what your new vision board looks like ever since now that you have life has changed. Jiggy jiggy.
Wish me luck. I'll make it work. Wish me luck. But also because I love money and I need to protect people, guys. If you do want to grab a copy, I think Take a Lot currently has a special. So yes, so that's obviously you can get it anywhere, but
Yes.
I mean I care about brands as well. Okay, so Take a Lot.
Yes.
I know they have a special right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the next Lunch and Learn. Don't forget to tell your friend and tell your friend and tell your girlfriends to join us for Lunch and Learn at 1 p.m. every single Friday. Nyaki, I forgot our intro banner. We have a whole intro banner. We're just too excited. We just jumped into it. So you guys, if you're seeing the replay, you'll see that there was a banner. But for the live people, you all know that we forgot it. Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone. I'm frozen.
You are frozen.